canon to the MCU. As I've already explained in my other video, the head writer for What If explicitly states that What If is in fact a part of the MCU's multiverse.
Well, let's give the Shandy Man another try to destroy the Birdman. Now, the basic background is Madvocate put something out critical of Birdman. The claim is they weren't really attacking Birdman, they clearly were. But yes, he was a small part of a larger attack of people defending No Way Home, and apparently the MCU film that is so popular is really the worst thing of all time. May shock people. I've been convinced by SK and not Madvocate, because he's an idiot, but yes, there are legitimate issues with No Way Home, but I don't think they're as devastating as they've made them out to be. And the Birdman has a few answers. Unfortunately, Shandy messes it up by trying to assassinate the Birdman. He ended up destroying Madvocate's credibility.
Maybe.
So no, your two examples do not prove he consistently makes mistakes or questionable decisions.
Oh, but it wasn't two examples, was it?
Was it not?
Yes, because I don't give a fuck about what if or what if.
Oh, he mentioned what if. Oh yeah, I remember when we talked about that.
Yeah, I sent it to you, but since I have no interest in what if, and I know it. Is it canon? It's probably canon, but like I don't give a fuck about what if.
It's canon, but it's a different universe, so it doesn't...
Well, the basic gist is, yes, What If is canon. Birdman is using What If as a part of his argument, insofar as we think we can have arguments in aesthetics, which I'm very doubtful of, frankly, but okay, let's do it. So he's citing a legitimate source, and Madvocate is literally saying, oh, I guess it's canon. You don't know? You didn't do the research to find out? So right away, it's like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. And then he just says, well, even if it is, I don't care. If you don't care about a canonical source, you don't care about a canonical source. You're disturbing the canon. So what's the point of doing analysis? If you're not going to hold to the canon, so he could just dismiss anything you say, saying, well, I don't consider that canon. Now people would say, well, that's not legitimate. But Madvocate did that. Shandy is saying he's doing that. He's citing evidence he did that. So right away, he has no argument. He's completely admitting he's ignorant, and even if I'm ignorant, I don't care. I wasn't going to even pay attention.
From your physical form.
Wait, my physical... What?
How are you doing that?
I have no idea.
You should know.
Doctor Strange and Peter Parker have super speed. What the fuck? Let's have a look at other instances in the MCU where astral projection happens.
Well, then you're not a critic, you moron. Why should you be doing YouTube videos and getting, quote, fair use protection, you idiots? But let's put that aside. Maybe the Birdman is still wrong.
As gems because I'm a comic book purist.
You know, I think I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about myself. Ever since I was a young cub, I was very adventurous. I climbed many tall trees, glided across vast caverns, and eventually learned to swim across entire lakes, and eventually enormous oceans. I traveled to many great and distant lands, met some of the most interesting people you'll ever see, and learned 3 languages. I've seen a lot in my time, but despite everything I've accomplished and everything I've discovered, not once have I ever come across a single person who asked.
As in, I'm a guy that literally still goes to comic book shops in 2022 and buys actual comic books.
Hey guys, look, he buys comic books in 2022. See, nobody cares.
What do you guys think of this variant of Lethal Protector #1? I really like this one.
Oh, hey guys, excuse me while I move all of this rubbish out of the way so I can show you my comic book collection that I definitely still read and...
Right, crazy things happen in the comics. Well, I don't think he studied the Birdman enough. The Birdman has a few guidelines of why he invokes comics. I'm actually much further than he is. So he says with power sets, he's very careful to invoke the comics. He says, and Shandy responds to, well, Thor has all kinds of crazy powers. Yeah, the Birdman knows that. And Spiderman has crazy powers too. And Shandy tries to destroy Birdman on that. Well, I don't think he's read enough Spider-Man issues, I think, frankly, because if he did, he'd know Spider-Man sometimes does have extraordinary powers. I'm not going to do the homework for him, but if he actually studied Spider-Man carefully, he would know that. He'd know that. And his way of trying to get out of that is to say, well, you need to show me the movie. No, he doesn't. Birdman has specifically said, I'm going to cite comic sources. You cited comic sources. You tried to have it both ways. Unfortunately, the Birdman probably does know comics better than you. And I think me and Birdman know versions of Spider-Man that, yes, can do certain extraordinary acts, even ones to counter Strange. Spider-Man is sometimes strong enough to stop Doctor Strange. It has actually happened. So you just don't know what the hell you're saying. And you're literally protecting someone who admits flat out, I'm going to ignore the canon because I want to. Well, if you're going to do that, then what's the point of doing any analysis? You're going to win by definition. You're just going to ignore evidence and say, I win argument because my evidence, based on my authority. That's not an argument in any situation. It's just not.